Good afternoon, students. Today we are going through the last page of We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together. We come to know the condition of the voyagers on 2nd January when the wave hit, efforts done by them to make them survive on 3rd January, their condition thereafter on 4th January and 5th January once again when the same weather conditions appeared which appeared on 2nd January, how they felt, how the children reacted to the circumstance and how the elders took the situation. Mary and the narrator thought their end was near, but um, when the narrator went to the cabin of Jonathan, he came out fully confident, fully determined to fight with whichever condition he had. And he started fighting with that. And Suzanne gave him a cheerful card to make him happy, to make him relaxed. The narrator said The narrator calculated that they were 1,50,000 kilometers somewhere in the ocean and they were looking for 65-kilometer wide island. Thereafter, I checked and rechecked my calculations. We had lost our main compass and I was using a spare which had not been corrected for a magnetic variation. The narrator checked and rechecked his calculation whether he was right. They were 1,50,000 kilometers of the ocean, or what was their exact location. They had their main compass, they had lost their main compass, and now he was using the spare one, but that was not set for magnetic variation, so it was not reliable. They could not rely on that compass for exact location. I made an allowance, means estimate, for this. He made an estimate using the compass and another estimate of the influence of the westerly currents. He made estimate of the direction. He made estimate of the westerly current which flew through that part of Indian Ocean. So at 2 p.m. I went on deck and asked Larry, the crewman, to steer a course of 185 degrees. If we were lucky, I told him with a conviction I did not feel. He could expect to see the island at about 5 p.m. He told Larry at 2 p.m. He asked Larry to take the direction of 185 degrees, and he told Larry that if they would be lucky, although he did not feel they could be, but he told him if they would be lucky, they would be able to reach the island at 5 p.m. Then, with a heavy heart, I went below, climbed on my bunk, and amazingly dozed off. Doze off means slept. Thereafter, with a heavy heart means feeling disappointed. He was not sure, he was not happy. So he went below, climbed the bunk, sleeping berth, and it was amazing that he felt sleep there. When I was woke up, it was 6 p.m. and he estimated that if they would be lucky, they would be able to reach the island at 5 p.m. When he got up, it was 6 p.m. and growing dark. I knew we must have missed the island, and with the sail we had left, we couldn't hope to beat back into the westerly winds. He knew they must have missed the island as it was 6 p.m. If they could not reach the island, he thought they must have missed that. And with the sail that they had put on the mast, they had less chances to beat the westerly winds. Means it was, if they had left the island, it was not possible to go back to that island or to that area using that sail at that time. A tallest head appeared to my bunk. Can I have a hug? Jonathan asked. She was right behind him. Why am I getting a hug now? I asked. Because you are the best daddy in the whole world and the best captain, my son replied. Not today, John, I'm afraid. Why? You must be, said she in a matter of fact voice. You found the island. What? I shouted. It's out there in front of us. They chorused, as big as a battlefield. When the narrator was thinking all that they must have left the island and it was not possible to reach that island with that condition of the ship back at that time, the disarranged head of Jonathan came there and asked his father to give him a hug. His father asked why he was asking for that. He then added that he was the best daddy in the whole world and the best captain. Jonathan stated that he did nothing to be best that day. Then she informed him with a confidence in her voice that he was able to find the island. And they shouted together that the island was as big as a battleship, a ship used for battle. It was not so big, but it was um, as large as a battleship. I rushed on deck and gazed with relief at the stark outline of Isle Amsterdam. It was only a bleak piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation, the most beautiful island in the world. Now, focus on these lines stated by the narrator. The narrator states that when he came to know that they were able to reach the island because of the efforts of him, they finally reached the island. He looked out with relief at the dark outline of the Isle Amsterdam. It was Isle Amsterdam where they reached. It was a bleak piece of volcanic rock. It was a piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation, but still, the narrator commented that it was the most beautiful island in the world. Although there was little vegetation, little vegetation is for na ke barabar. Without vegetation, a place can't be beautiful, and it was a piece of volcanic rock, so the soil must be of dark color. The island was not actually beautiful, but just because of the that island, the life of the voyagers was saved. That's why he commented that that was the most beautiful island in the world, because it was the only hope for their survival in the direst stressing condition. I hope up to this things are clear. And next page. We anchored offshore for the night, and the next morning, all 28 inhabitants of the island cheered as they helped us ashore. They anchored, they stopped offshore for the night, and the next morning, 28 inhabitants, the residents of the island, were happy to make them come ashore. Now, the last paragraph with